Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Mom Mode. I have Action Jacquelyn on the podcast today, who's also the founder of Barre Definition, and I'm just so excited. There are multiple reasons why I wanted Jacquelyn to come on the podcast, and the one biggest inspiration was for her having her daughter at home and having a home birth. So we are going to dive into that, but also other things as well. So welcome to the podcast, Jacquelyn.
Yeah, so excited to be here and talk all things mom. I love it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. For those who don't know you, can you just give a little brief introduction of who you are?
For sure. So yeah, I'm a new mom. My daughter's 20 months. And yeah, like you said, I had a home birth. I live in Southern California. I was a dancer, a ballerina my whole life. I began a women's barre and Pilates app called Barre Definition. And so I have barre programs. I have barre Pilates prenatal and postnatal programs. And we just came out with a whey protein and that digests really well, and a collagen, which I definitely need for all of that hair loss and everything.
Oh my gosh,
So
I
the
could use
collagen has
that.
been great, and then a weight loss program. Yes, I know. We definitely all need more protein. So having that's why we created it, because I wanted something that had zero added sugar and low lactose and all that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm really
amazing.
I've been on a journey, and I'm excited to talk to moms. Like I love talking about motherhood. It's so fun.
Yeah, no. And we just realized that our daughters are similar in age. So I have a 20-month-old as well, probably by far my favorite age yet. Just like the way they interact with us and everything like that.
Yeah, I do love this age so much. Like I feel like she's becoming a little person, and she has a personality. She's talking. I mean, right now she wants to get dressed. Like that's like her new thing right now, like picking out her own clothes, which is really cute. But then sometimes I'm like, oh no, not that dress that I wanted to save for something special. But that's fine. We can take it to the park and get strawberries all over it. But
Yeah,
so it's just a lot of letting go, but it's really cool to see her really like assert herself and tell me what she wants, which I love. Like I love being able to communicate with her.
definitely. And just like like seeing their personality shine through, and just those little characteristics they have.
Yeah, it's so fun. I love it.
Um, Yeah, my daughter, I'm like, I'll like give her options and I'll be like, which one do you want to wear? And she's just not grasping it yet. But that's so exciting that your daughter is already like picking out her own outfits and whatnot.
Yeah, she's very assertive.
Not a bad thing.
No.
Um, so, I have so many questions because there's just so many, I feel like different hats that you wear. So, how do you do it all? How do you manage your time with being a mom, being a wife, being like basically you're like a mompreneur. Like you have your bar and Pilates, you used to be a dancer. Um, how do you
Yeah,
kind of
I
make
think
it
it's
all work?
a lot of I mean, I think getting building up to this, I spent a lot of years prepping to become a mom. Like I think in the back of my mind, that's why I became an entrepreneur, so that I could create a career for myself that had this kind of flexibility. So people are people are always like, "Oh, you're so lucky," and I'm like, I don't know how lucky it is. I mean, I feel like I've worked like a solid like 10 years to get to where I am,
Yeah,
where I've like really I had this vision for myself of being home and wanting to have a family, and somehow I always said that I'm like I want to have a business that incorporates all the dancing, all my my career, and then can incorporate my life. And like a long time ago social media wasn't what it was today, so I was always like but I just had this vision. I'm like, how am I going to make it all work? So um but now, and I wanted to also have a partner that was also entrepreneurial. So my husband and I work on the business together. So, when I when I first had the baby, I was able to step back a little bit, and he ran a
Mhm.
lot of things, um, which helped a lot, but well, I mean, honestly, when she was like first born, they sleep a ton. So I felt
Yeah.
like I actually still was able to work quite a bit. And then it's like when they start to get more independent, then it was like, oh shoot, no, I can't get nearly as much done as I used to when she was like, just lay there on the bed and I wouldn't move.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it's been a balance of like him and I, of him taking on things, or we, hiring a team. I mean, we have a team. There's no way that we could do this without a team. So, letting go of a lot of control, getting organized within the business, making sure, I had to get a project manager to help me get everything organized in Notion so that I'm not the gatekeeper of everything, so everyone has
Mhm.
access to everything. Because yeah, that's a big part of it, is staying organized so you can have people help you. Because otherwise, if you're always the one doing it, then um, no one has any access to your stuff, then they can't help you. So that was a big learning curve too, is just getting links to just simple, like all of our photo shoots, like getting that organized. And so taking the time to organize stuff is really big. I'm all about organizing, like the home, the
Yeah.
office, the my computer. Um, yeah, we don't. I guess we just don't watch TV. I think that's where we gain a
That's
lot of
good.
time.
I spend a lot of time there and I'm like, how much time could I be doing other things that are more productive?
Yeah, we just moved and we haven't even put up our TV because we're like, "Oh, we'll do it later," and then we realize we literally never use it, so we still haven't put it up. So, um, like, if we watch anything, we like to learn, like, real estate or something. I just feel
Yeah,
like there's just a lot of ways that you can, like, still relax and watch something, but not, like, just watch TV. But, every now and then, I still like to watch something just to, like,
definitely.
zone out.
That's really cool that you guys work together. I feel like that's really special. I'm sure there's like, I mean, I don't know if it was like a learning curve for you guys in the beginning with like, too much time together, or some couples they're totally fine just being together. And, obviously with you both being entrepreneurs, you can like take time off at the same time and you're both able to be home when you need to. So I feel like there's so many benefits to that.
Yeah, and I wanted that. I was so entrepreneurial, and it really does, when you're entrepreneurial, like, it consumes you. You're like, that's all you think
Mhm.
about. And so I wanted to marry someone who we could do that together, and not have him, like, he goes to work and then I never see him, and then I see him at the end of the day, and then I'm like, what do those couples talk about? Because it's
Yeah,
like, if you don't, like, I don't know, I mean, we don't only talk about work, but, it's like a big part of what we love, like we're passionate about,
oh, for
So
sure.
I like that. But I mean, he goes to like a workspace and I like working at home. So we're not like always like right next to each other. So I'll stay home, and because I'm more of a homebody, and then he likes to like get out and go to coffee shops and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's nice. I know. I feel like I'm the same way. Like my husband, I mean, he works from home. But I'm like, I feel like he could benefit from leaving the house, where I don't mind staying home. Um, so how did it all come about? So you were a ballerina and a dancer. Explain that. And then cuz that was kind of, was that your foundation to then building like your business with the bar and Pilates?
Yeah, for sure. Like I was teaching. I mean, I got certified in Pilates when I was 17. So I started teaching right when I went into
Wow.
college. And so I was teaching at the college gym and just like figuring it out, and then I was dancing. I was on the dance team there, and then I got after college, then I was dancing up in LA and like going to auditions and doing all that stuff, and like, I got a couple cool gigs here and there for Disney or whatever commercials, and then I started doing
So
then
cool.
I auditioned for NBA, so I became a Clipper girl, and then I became a Laker girl, and that was so fun. That was just like
Oh my gosh,
5
I can only
years of just
imagine.
a blast. Yeah, it was so fun, but meanwhile, I was still like personal training, so
Mhm.
I was just like going crazy, waking up at 5 a.m. training clients, and then have to head to downtown to the Staples Center and I mean, back then it was the Staples Center, and court practice and get ready for games or go to an appearance. And then, so it was these long days. And then I also had a t-shirt line at that time. I started a women's, it was called Rally Babe. It was like a women's sports apparel with like rhinestones. And I actually got it into the Staples Center store when we were in colleges, and my
Oh my
sister and I did
gosh.
that together. So we definitely have, I'm just a very entrepreneurial, but then I wanted to, I don't know, and then I started posting on Instagram, and like my posts just started going viral. So I just felt more drawn to fitness.
Hmm.
I didn't really care about fashion enough for me to like make it my whole life. Um, and even though I'd really enjoyed like I'm like very artistic and stuff, but I don't the fitness just seemed to really, really draw me in, and I was like loving showing people how to do the
Yeah. And
splits
then
and
you
things
had
like that.
mentioned
And
how it
so,
kind of
I was teaching at all
prepped
these boutiques
your
and
body
also
because
having
you've always
personal
wanted to be a
clients.
mom.
And then I started to figure out how to put it on video. I met someone, they're like, you should do a challenge like online. And this was like before challenges online were a thing. And I was like, what do you mean? And
Hmm.
so I did like this 10-minute little stretching challenge for 14 days. And I couldn't believe how, like, the level of results people got. People were like, oh my God, my back pain is gone. This is gone. I'm like, what? But it was just
Wow.
so cool that I could reach people all over the world. It was just this
Yeah.
concept of like, teaching at a gym and teaching the same people over and over again. And then all of a sudden you put your stuff online and you can reach the whole world, which I know it sounds like, well, duh, but when you actually make the jump from like teaching in person to going online,
Hmm.
it's like, wow, this is amazing. And then I taught myself videography, editing, all that stuff so that I could keep doing it. And then it just evolved. I did programs, and then eventually I turned it into an app, and then we rebranded it. And so I started the app in 2019, and then we've gone through a couple iterations of the brand. And so now, yeah, here we are. Now I started with like 30 classes on the app when I first launched it. Now I have like over 800.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so yeah, I mean, it's a very robust library of workouts in there. And of course,
Wow.
I'm still always adding new ones every month.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I noticed that you have like a studio. Is that where you're gonna be like recording more content and just programs for it?
Yeah, we just moved so that we could get a bigger house. We were living like right by the beach. So we had, a small little place. I mean, we moved there before we even got married. And so we had, it was this fun little beach spot. But then we loved the area, and it was just, and then we got married, and then we had a baby, and then our baby started walking and then running. And you're like, we need more space. We got to get out of here. So we moved. And then, yeah, now we have like a much bigger house. And now yeah, we're building a studio inside the house, which is cool because we have like, formal living rooms, formal dining rooms. I'm like, we don't need this space. So we're turning it all into a studio, which is cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. So that's incredible. So you've just, I mean, it's just really built and become just such a successful like business, but like it's a business that you love what you're doing. Um, how like obviously like bar and Pilates, were you just always involved in bar and Pilates because of like the dance background and then just like the health that it can be, obviously that it contributes to your body, prepping yourself for motherhood with like your core
Yeah, I mean,
stability and
just from being a
everything.
ballerina, it was like I loved bar. Bar came very naturally for me to teach, and people really loved the way I taught because I think it was very ballet based, what mixed with functional fitness, as opposed to it being like more like a functional fitness class with like a couple ballet moves. It was more like, let me really show you like what it feels like to be a dancer in your body, like to feel graceful, to feel strong, um, and using your body weight, or, just light weights and things. So, really teaching people how to connect to their core or lift up their posture, or really use their arms or spread, lift their chest. Like just having that dancer posture throughout your workout really does make a difference and creates a lot of body awareness and body mind connection. So it's totally different than any other
Mhm.
workout that you're going to do. So
I
yeah, and
love
it's
that.
great for all stages of life, like prenatal, it's amazing. Being pregnant, it's a great thing to do, as well as postnatal. So, and I say bar and Pilates too, because Pilates is all the core work and stuff. It's similar. It has a lot of overlap, but yeah, so they're both great for the prenatal, postnatal, and then or anyone who's like, coming back into working out.
Mm,
Or maybe a lot of people get burnt out on weights or the gym and they want to try something different for their body. So um
definitely. And I
yeah.
feel like it's so beneficial. Like, I mean, when I got pregnant, I like didn't know what workouts I should be doing. You're like, I mean, I guess you're fine to do any workout, as long as your body was used to it. But, I just feel like it sounds really like just a nice, relaxing, move your body type of workout that is helpful for pregnancy or, like you said, postpartum, even.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and you don't have to have already done bar to start bar during your pregnancy. Like I think it's definitely something that you can ease into easily. Because I
Hmm.
know that's what they always say, like, oh, just do something that you're used to doing. And it's like, I mean, I don't, eh, if you have the right instructor that like is helping you guide through your body, then you could try something new. I think there's like a lot of fear around it. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid to start trying bar during your pregnancy. I think that'd be a great workout.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you think it helped prepare your body for pregnancy?
Definitely kept me strong for sure. I mean, I definitely worked out as often as I could. I mean, the first trimester, maybe not so much. I was pretty out. I didn't,
Hmm.
I felt pretty, pretty crappy. Um, but in retrospect, I mean, I know it's hard it's like, cause you feel good now. In retrospect, I'm like, I wish I would have done a little bit more during my first trimester just because I just felt like I lost so much strength so quickly.
Hmm.
But then I really worked out a lot in my second and third trimester, a lot. And I felt great. I mean, I had other issues. I had pelvic or pubic symphysis,
I
where
haven't heard of
I had
that.
like a ton of pain in my pubic bone, and that was really tough. And I have something called hypermobility, which I mean, I saw a bunch of different PTs and everyone was like, I don't really know. Like sometimes just this happens. Like they're like, yeah, you're really fit and strong. Like, I don't know. No one really had like a solution for me. And so like I'm such a researcher. And so I found something about hypermobility, which so I think it was more like my brain just felt like unsafe and it just had this whole, with your relaxin hormone. I don't know.
Hmm.
It was strange. But as soon as I had the baby, it was like the pain was gone. It was kind of crazy. I like stood up and I was like, whoa. It was like literally night and
That's
day.
so weird. So
So,
you had it your whole
but other
pregnancy,
than
that
that,
like
I mean,
feeling?
yeah, yeah, literally from like week 8, I remember I was like
Wow.
walking. I'm like, what was that? But,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole experience has been very humbling for me because being being someone who's very fit, I was surprised of how long it took me to recover.
Hmm.
I don't know, for me, I just felt like I couldn't leave the house for, like, 2 to 3 months, and some people go to, like, a coffee shop, like, in 2 weeks, and I'm like, "I don't know how they do that," or, like, women who go back to work. I don't know, I'm like, I just wanted to be home and, I mean, I would go for walks and stuff.
Yeah.
But, and I didn't even start running until like 10 to 12 months after, like actually like I'd go on walks, but I like running, that was
Hmm.
tough. So, um, my heart goes out to any postnatal, like freshly postnatal. Like I know how tough it can be to be freshly like having a baby. And it just takes time. But now like I
Hmm.
feel great. It's like it's amazing what our bodies can do. It really does. But it does take time, and I'm almost at 2 years. I feel like, yeah, like that first year is like truly just recovery. And then then the second year, I feel like you can really then build your strength. Probably, I mean, I heard that can even take up to like 3 years, which I can see. Like, I mean, your
Yeah.
bones move, your organs move, everything completely shifts around. Um, Mixed with, a baby and not sleeping and all that stuff, like then your recovery slowed down. So, um, yeah, I was very humbled by the experience for sure.
I would definitely agree. And I do agree with you. Like I definitely eased back into everything. Um, I remember just at one point, I just, after having my daughter, I'm just like, will I ever be the same physically, like capable? You know, you're just, I mean, I had a C-section. So obviously my birth was a little different. But it was just wild, like how my body healed itself. Like I was back to working out, I was doing Pilates. But within 10 weeks, I was doing like a nice slow Pilates class. And I'm just like, this is crazy. Like my abdomen, I never thought that like my body would ever feel strong again. And now I feel like, yeah, that second year, I feel like, okay, I'm capable again. Like I feel like myself a little more. I feel like,
Mhm.
every day is, better and better. So yeah, that's why, I mean, I feel like it's good to take your time though. You have to just go at
Yeah,
the
there's
pace
no
that you
rush.
need to.
I don't think there's a
Yeah.
rush. I think we definitely wanna like, we desperately just wanna feel like ourselves again, but, um, I don't think there's a rush to it. I'm glad that I didn't push myself harder or like, or even because I just stopped breastfeeding her, like, this month. So I
I
breastfed her for
saw
20
that.
months.
That
Yeah.
is amazing. That is like
Yeah, so
that is like really amazing that you can do that. That you did that. I was only 9 months, but like my supply totally dropped. So, I mean, that is a sacrifice, to do it for 20 months and incredible.
yeah, because I could tell, like, that my body was holding on to water weight and stuff like that from because you're an insulin resistance naturally when you're breastfeeding,
Mhm.
and there was definitely a part of me that just wanted to stop breastfeeding just so that I could, like, lose the water weight, but then I was like, "I don't know, this is such a special time in her life. I'm never gonna get this time back," and I just
Yeah.
wanted to breastfeed her as long as I could and just deal with the fact that, yeah, maybe I'm like, 10 pounds over what I normally was before having her. But I was like, I don't know. I didn't care, which is weird because I'm someone who like really cares about your body, my body, like that's
Mhm.
been my whole life, like literally since I was a little girl. So yeah, I just really wanted to breastfeed her as long as I could. And honestly, like I would have kept going, but we were trying to get pregnant and we just haven't been getting pregnant because she was still, like, feeding every 2 to 3 hours at night, which
Wow.
I know is crazy, so it's like, I think because I work with a midwife, and so she was like, "I think you just got a night wean for sure,
Yeah.
to give yourself the best chances for getting pregnant," 'cause we had been trying for, like, 6 months, so yeah, so we just did that, but I would have totally just kept breastfeeding her till she was, like, probably 2 or 3, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I had a friend that did that. I think our son was like 2 or 2.5. Um, I mean, but it was her only son. She knew they were only gonna have one, so she just, went as long as she could. What now, was there a reason
Yeah.
why your midwife suggested stopping the night feeds? Like, how does that help, I guess, your body with like possibly, getting pregnant?
Yeah, I mean, she said because I've had low progesterone, um, and I think because when you night feed, your prolactin is the highest, and then your prolactin is what suppresses your progesterone.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of women are like, "Oh, I got pregnant breastfeeding," but I think they were just day feeding. A lot of women usually, I hear of a lot of moms like cutting out night feeds already, and they're like maybe breastfeeding a couple times throughout the day. But,
Mhm.
I was still breastfeeding, like, every 2 to 3 hours at night. Um, so because I co-sleep with her too. So I think, she
Yeah.
just had it right there. Um, so yeah, so that's what she suggested, like, to regulate hormones and then to also allow me to sleep all night because I hadn't slept the whole night since she was born 20 months ago. So that's been
Oh
nice
my
too.
gosh. Yeah. Um, yeah, I noticed that you co-sleep. I like all of your, my daughter just went into a crib. Sometimes I wish she would sleep with me, like in bed because I miss the cuddling. She's just so independent and like even at night when I go to put her in her room, I'm like trying to rock her to sleep and she's just like inching, like reaching for the crib. I'm like, okay, I'll put you down.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh.
but that's so nice. So did you just want to co-sleep just to like build that bond? Or was your daughter just not sleeping? What kind of led to the co-sleeping?
So it just happened that first night because I did have the home birth and
Mm-hmm.
we were home and she was born at night or not, I mean, she was born at 6:30 p.m. And so, we go into the bedroom and we're just like laying down and the midwife like does all the things and everything. And by the time they left, it was like 10 p.m. But when they left, I was like, wait, where are you going? Like, who's gonna take care of this baby, you know? It was
I
the
know.
weirdest feeling. I was like, "Wait, wait, wait, wait. You guys are leaving?" You know? Because we
Yeah,
had two midwives and a doula, and they were like, they're moms, and so they just were, like, doing everything with the baby and all this stuff, and then when they left, I was like, "Wait, where are you guys going?"
I know. That's like,
But they were
it's
like,
crazy.
you got it, you'll be fine." And yeah, and so she was just, I just was laying in bed and I was like propped up, but then she was just like laying on my chest and then, we just fell asleep like that. And I mean, I had pillows like all around me and everything. But I just dozed off for a little bit and then, I kept waking up. I was like still up, I'm sure like every hour or two, but she was just right there and then she was just like latching right away. So she was like breastfeeding like on and off. So I just like never I don't know, I just, like, never put her in the little side crib because she was just on me feeding on and off, and then
Yeah.
it just, like, kept going like that, and also, like, I don't know, it was pretty painful afterwards, like, I couldn't sit up, it was hard for me to, like, just sit in a nursing chair,
Hmm.
um, I had gotten stitches. I had like she said it was like it was like a 1-degree tear, but she still gave me stitches. So it was like really painful to sit. And I think I pulled a muscle too a little bit. It was just painful. It was very painful to sit. So I just wanted to lay down in bed. So anytime I'd nurse her, I would just be like laying in bed. So that's when I started side sleeping or side nursing with her and figured
Hmm.
that out. And then it just like kept happening. And then yeah, and then we just got used to her being in bed, and then that's when I didn't plan on it, and that's when I started researching, like, co-sleeping and, like, safe co-sleeping and following all the rules, and we already had a pretty firm mattress, and, like, it was one of the recommended mattresses that, like, co-sleepers use, so I was like, "Oh, this was, like, perfect." I
Yeah.
think or maybe we had a topper, and then I think we took the topper off, and then it was so that it was more firm. Um, and then yeah, so I followed all the safe sleep rules and it was great. Like I felt like yeah, I was still like waking up, but I'd fall right back to sleep. Like I felt like I wasn't exhausted. Like I hear these songs, they're like exhausted. And I never felt exhausted ever. I was
That's
like
good.
maybe tired, like
Hmm.
I was kind of tired here and there. I mean, of course I'm like recovering and everything, but I felt like I was still sleeping,
Which is
and I
good.
was resting because I was, like, laying down because I never have to actually stand up and get on my feet in the middle of the night because I hear, like, once your feet touch the ground at night, you're up. Like, it just
Hmm.
signals something to your brain, like, "Okay, I'm standing, I need to be awake." Whereas if you're laying down in bed, like, you can open your eyes and then it just, like, kinda doze back off, you know?
Hmm.
So I felt like co-sleeping was great, and, I loved it. It was and we still do it. We still co-sleep. I still sleep with her, and she just,
Oh,
like, moves and she'll still come up now, she comes up and, like, cuddles with me, and it's, like, so fun, like, I love it, and she just, like, she moves around a lot, so yeah, so I think it's great if you can do it, and my husband, we, like, would just put a pillow in between he and I, but then he got really used to it too. I always say, like, new parents, no one's gonna be as more in tune into your baby than you are,
hmm.
so just
I
like
was
how
gonna say
any
that.
and people are like, "Oh, you're gonna roll over," and it's like, I don't know, have you ever rolled over off of your bed?
Yeah.
like
No.
as an adult, we just have this like, you just know, like, okay, I'm not going to keep rolling off the bed. Like, when, if your baby's there, you're not going to roll onto your baby like that. Just,
Yeah.
of
I think
course,
it's
yeah,
just
unless
like
you drank or have drugs or something that's like brain inhibiting. But, um,
for sure.
yeah, we're so in tune with our babies.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is. It's like, and it's also like probably different with every baby and every kid. Like my daughter, like I would go to lay down, like when I'd breastfeed with her at night, and she was just very antsy and just like wanted to be put back in her bassinet. Like I would try. I'm like, wait, just stay with me. And, she just wanted to be back and she would get comfortable. So I just think it's
Yeah,
also like, yeah,
I would try to put her in the bassinet and she would never. She just
she didn't want it.
I would like try and I tried to swallow her and she would kick out of the swaddle. She'd always kick it off and she'd like find an arm out and then I would nurse her and I would like lay her down and it never, I tried so many times and it just never, I was like, I can't do this. I just want to sleep. So
Yeah.
having her next to me was just like, okay, this is the only way I'm going to sleep.
Yeah. It's like her safe space. And so that's what works for you guys. And I think that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Um, so what led to like when you got pregnant, did you always know that you wanted to have a home birth? Was that like always the goal?
No.
So what
Not at
led to it?
all.
I just think it's so beautiful. Like I mean, if I had a choice, I probably would not because I'm too scared. Um, that's
What are
why I
you
think
scared of though?
I don't know. Like, I mean, now, like, cause I had the C-section, and like, I didn't even dilate to a one being induced, um, for hours and hours. I don't know. I'm just like, I was scared, like, well, what if something happens and like, you can't get to the hospital in time? Like, I guess that's like the number one thing that would come to my mind is like, you know, I don't know. I was just always a little nervous for childbirth. Like I always wanted to be a mom, but I'd always be like, I don't know, I'm scared to give birth. So I feel like I
Yeah.
always kind of like had this weird fear um around birth. And now I'm like, you know, I mean, I might have another C-section. I don't know. When we get pregnant, I'll have to talk to my doctor about it, about what my options would be. But that's why I just think it's so like I look at your home birth and I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks so peaceful. It just like it feels like it's the right way to bring the babies into the world.
Yeah. It was very empowering. It was peaceful in the sense that it was in my own environment,
Hmm.
but, you know, I was still screaming and yelling and all
Oh,
the
I'm
things.
sure it was not pleasant. Yeah, I'm sure the pain wasn't pleasant, but
Yeah.
um
But yeah, it was definitely it was an empowering experience because I mean, I've never done anything harder in my entire life. And anything that you go through that's a challenge, it's like you come out of it the other side completely empowered and anything that you do that's really tough like that, you also value more too. I felt
mhm,
just so proud of myself, so happy with the way things went that I could do it, mentally, physically. And that was a whole journey within itself. And no, I didn't plan on doing a home birth. Like in the beginning, I had just first listened to this podcast like right before I got married. And we knew we wanted to start trying like right away. And I listened to this podcast that happened to be about home births and it was like on a nutrition podcast. So I wasn't like seeking it out. It just like kind of popped up in the queue kind of thing.
mhm,
And I listened to it and I was like, oh, wow, I had never even thought about this. Like, I didn't, and the way she explained it, and she was a midwife, and the way she explained it, and the way that it's like, you're yeah, a safe place. It's the natural form. And then she went into, birth of how we're programmed to be scared of it because that's all we ever see on TV is women getting rushed to the hospital and they're screaming and it seems really scary because that's all we ever see, right? Is like
mhm.
this
Very
rush, rush,
true.
rush to the hospital. And it's like no one wants to rush to the hospital. Like that is like a scary thing. And so I think we're just all programmed to think of birth like that, as opposed to like it being the most natural process that could ever happen. I mean, that's the reason why every single human is on this earth, like a woman gave birth to that person, and it's been going on
That's
like that
wild.
for centuries.
Mhm.
And, even women can give birth in a coma. Like their bodies know exactly what to do to give birth. So it's like, and every species on the planet does it. So it's just this process that I think that has been really feared, unfortunately, as opposed to like discovered more, or even like the idea of how siblings are usually taken out of the room, which I guess it just depends on each family, but like I think it's sad that like none of us really get to witness a birth, or none of us are familiar with a birth. Like it's just always this like closed off thing that just happens behind doors that no
Yeah.
one talks about. And it's just all of a sudden she's pregnant one day, and then all of a sudden you see her in the next photo with the baby, and it's like, well, what happened in between all that? Like we aren't
Mhm.
exposed to that at all. Like in our culture, it's very behind closed doors. And so anything that's unfamiliar to us, we're going to fear, right? That's just human
Absolutely.
nature. So I think if we are around birth more, if we witness birth, like even doctors like don't even witness a natural birth. They only witness medicalized births in hospitals,
That's so
I mean, there's
true.
some great documentaries about this too. And so the way she spoke about it, I was like, wow, I didn't never thought about any of this. And so I looked her up on Instagram, and then I couldn't believe that she was like literally in my neighborhood. And I was
Oh my
like, what?
gosh.
I'm like,
What are the
she lives right
chances?
here? I was like, this is so crazy. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I just want to reach out to her and see, what the process is. Cause I remember I was getting married in like 2 months, and we were like ready to start trying. So I made an appointment with her, and yeah, and then I met her, and I was like, it was just so different. Like her office was like so cozy, and then you go into the waiting room and there's like all these kids, because she has like a whole play area, and it's like beautiful, and like wood toys and all that stuff. And because if you go to like a doctor's office, it's always so sterile and so like not
Yeah,
cozy, you
I
know.
would agree.
And most of the time you can't bring your kids, like your other siblings. So it was cool that there was just like all these moms that were like pregnant or not pregnant, and they had their babies and kids. And it was just, I don't know, it was just such a cool feeling. And I talked to the other moms. I'm like, oh, so you did a home birth? They're like, yeah, I did. And it was amazing. Like they all just, like no one had anything bad to say. Like they all just were obsessed with birth and the process. And it just was such a cool, different perspective. And it was such a beautiful perspective on birth. And it just really drew me in. And that's when I just started to research. And then I was like, okay, well, I want to think about this, So
Mhm.
I was like, I just want to get a head start and like get blood work and see where I'm at with my hormones. And she was like, wow, you're like very proactive. So, but
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of my personality. But yeah, so I got blood work, and but she also was very much like, you can trust your body. Like she really like empowers you that way too, to not
I
like
love
over
that.
medicalize it. And yeah, and but then like throughout my whole pregnancy, like I read every book, listened to every podcast. Like I did a ton of research. I mean, especially, when you don't have a baby, you have so much more time. And I would go on these
Yeah.
long walks when I was pregnant for like an hour or two, and just like listen and learn like every single day. So I was like, just learned everything there could be about birth and the risks and whatever, the complications, like what it could be, what it could not be, hospital versus home birth, all of that. So I like dove deep into it all. And I still felt that for me, that doing a home birth was the safest place to have a baby for me and my baby.
Mhm.
And so I mean, I had a lot of people tell me to not do it, that I was crazy, that I'm gonna kill my baby, or I'm gonna cause all kinds of things. And so I just had to like really push out the
Trust.
noise and yeah, trust myself and trust my instincts. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that
So
can happen
that's
at
what
the
it is.
hospital too. I mean, all those things can happen at the hospital. Wow, that's incredible. So, what books, or like what do you think was like the most helpful? Like was there any like book that stood out to you, like if a mom's listening and they're thinking about doing a home birth, that you were
I really loved the Birthing Instincts podcast. His name is
okay.
Dr. Stu. and he's an OBGYN who started working with midwives and started to see a lot of the flaws that are in the medical system. And this is for him coming from like years and years of being an OB and delivering, thousands of babies, or I don't know how many, but
Oh yeah, I'm sure thousands.
he's very experienced, and and it's interesting to hear his perspective as an OB of midwives, and then he'll share stories, and he even will analyze people's experiences. People will write in and be like, I had this happen in my birth, and he'll like talk through like, well, I don't think they needed to do this, they didn't need to push here, you could have done this, or and so he has his perspective. But that podcast have really, really helped me like
Birthing
feel,
instincts.
yeah, birthing instinct. That one just made me feel like, okay, yeah, because some people are like, oh, well, what do midwives know and this? And it was just helpful to just hear, an OB talking about it, like
I
from
would
his perspective.
agree. Yeah. I
So,
mean, I'm definitely like a mix. Like I said, I don't know that I mean, I don't know if I could do a natural, I may have to go the C-section route with just some stuff that happened in my birth. Um, but I have since like dove into, just like deeper blood work since my pregnancy, just to like really understand like where my body is at and like what I can do to get my body in the best place possible before getting pregnant again. And there's some just further tests that maybe my OB wouldn't have done, that will be helpful information moving forward. Um,
but I think it's
just
also like the mentality of it too. It's like the home birth mentality is very empowering. I think like whether you decide to do a home birth or hospital birth, I think
yeah,
it's worthwhile to dive into, to really give yourself the power to trust your body, to know that your body's doing exactly what it needs to be doing, and this is the most natural process. Like really bringing it back to that kind of
I love that.
mentality, I think is empowering for us as women. And I think sometimes the hospital can take that power away from us because they say like, well, you can't do that, I'm not going to let you do that. Where
Mhm.
it's like, why are you telling me what I can and cannot do? Like, this is my body, this is my birth. Like, so to be so tied down to these, oh, because certain things are just protocol or whatever.
I was gonna say
Um,
there's so many different protocols of what your body's doing and what they have to do, and yeah,
and most of it is like just for their liability, like you can't do a water birth at a hospital. Like they'll have tubs, but once you start pushing, you have to
yeah,
get out. Um, I mean, there's so many things. I don't really want to go into everything, but
no,
it's like,
no, and you don't have to.
I think it's I think it's just the most empowering experience. And then I begin motherhood feeling like I can do anything too,
Yeah,
That's why I think it's really a powerful experience to even just do like a hypnobirthing course, because it's more rooted in midwifery. So to do like a hypnobirthing course or something like that during your pregnancy. There's another book, Ina May. Is it Ina May or Ina May? I think it's called like Gentle Birthing, something like that. But I think just to even read about home births or learn about it,
yeah,
and watch videos or whatever, because I think just to remind us like this is what women are meant to do. We're meant to carry and grow and birth and then feed and help them grow, through our breast milk and everything.
no, for sure. And I actually love that, and I think that's something that I will definitely take with from our conversation right now and like do. Look up that podcast and look up those books, because I feel like, yeah, I definitely need a mind shift there of like not fearing birth and like knowing that our bodies, like we were created to do this and we have to trust our bodies. I love that. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing that. I like that.
for
Like
sure.
that a
I
lot.
love it. It's such a fun topic. I think I mean, I think I just love the body. Like, that's why I love
Yeah.
movement. I love fitness. And then for a woman's body to be able to see like what we're capable of, it's incredible. Like this is what we're meant to do.
Well, it's so wild and this is so off topic, but I follow someone on Instagram and her and her husband, they have like a farm and they have like a bunch of cows. And she's like, oh, one of the cows had a baby, and the cows like go out far in the field, like by themselves. and they have like
Yeah.
their little calf. And then, they'll bring the calf or they'll lay there with their calf and, they go and find them the next day. And I'm like, I don't know. Ever since becoming a mom, I just like think of like you said, like animals, like everything, is brought into this earth by like a female. And like they're not having medications like all these animals, and like they just go and they have their baby and life goes on. It's just like, I know it's really weird. It's like so out there. But
No,
I was
it's
like,
so true.
I was thinking of this and I'm like, or like, birds. We have like a bird nest downstairs. And I'm like, okay, this mama is laying on her eggs. Like she like popped these eggs out. Now she's laying on her eggs. Like there's just, and then you look at it and you're like, it's the same process for everyone, for, all
Yeah.
living things. It's like wild. Like, I don't know. My mind,
It's so true. It's true.
like
Like these
since becoming
animals,
a
and they
mom, my
don't.
mind is weird now and shifting.
No, that's because you're like waking up to, your like humanness, I guess. Because that's
Yeah.
what I thought too. I'm like, there's nothing more animalistic and more raw than giving birth. Like
Yeah.
there's like you're stripped of everything. You're stripped of like any self-consciousness. Like I wasn't thinking, oh, am I being too loud? But I could maybe being in a hospital, they might be like, oh, I've heard people like shushing them or like, like that kind of thing. But I mean, birth is so raw. I mean, you're just like splitting open and pushing this life out of you. And
I
it's
know.
the craziest experience. Like, of course, you're going to have all kinds of thoughts afterwards. And
Yeah.
I think definitely we can take tips from nature because, the cow wants to go somewhere private, somewhere that's
Yeah.
safe, that's like dark, not, you don't have all these eyes on you and, people telling you what to do. It's like, no, the cow doesn't need training or classes or anything. They just
No,
follow
I
their
know. It's
body's
so weird.
instincts.
It's so crazy, but I'm like, it knows when it's going into labor and it like goes in this field or, they go to a private place, they have their baby. And,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so cool. Like, and then I was, not that I'm comparing it to your home birth, but I'm like, that is what it was made to be like. And I'm sure that's what it was like, if we go back in time before like modern medicine kind of took over everything, that's how women did give birth.
And then they'll say, oh, but lots of women died in childbirth. And that's not necessarily true. That's what we're shown in movies. That's what
Yeah,
movies show, right? Like, oh, the
you're
woman
so
died
right.
in childbirth. Like, but I mean, look at all the people that are on the planet, though, you
Yeah,
know? And there hasn't
yeah,
necessarily been, yeah, there's been a population increase, but it's not due to medicalized births. That's
no.
not why. Like, there's other reasons why there's more population on the earth. So when you hear those kinds I feel like we're just kind of manipulated into thinking like, oh, this is the safest place. And I disagree. I don't think it is the safest place. So yeah,
So I noticed on your Instagram you went to 42 weeks pregnant. Oh, or was it 42 or was it almost 42?
it was like, yeah, I was 13 days over. So it was almost, I was literally like the day before.
Oh my God. Okay. So were you getting nervous? Like, what were you feeling like in those moments? And then, like, I mean, do you even remember what you felt when you were like in active labor? Or is it kind of
Yeah, I
like,
mean, active labor was insane. But so I was like in prodromal labor, I think, for like 10 days because I was getting contractions. I'd like get contractions during the day and then we're always like, "Oh my God, today's the day." And then they'd go away. And it was like what is it called? Like Groundhog Day. Literally that was like every day for 10 days. And then finally one of those days the my water broke, but it was like a slow leak, a very slow
mm-hmm,
leak. So I didn't at first I didn't realize it. At first I thought I was just like having to pee a lot.
mm-hmm,
And then it just like kept happening. And I was like, okay, this is weird. So I texted my midwife and then she was like, I had the birth kit. So there was like some sort of strip or something. And she's like, do the strip to see. And then it showed that it was actually a water leak. So it just something with the pH was different. She goes, okay, yeah, so your water broke. But it was like a slow water leak. And then she's like, that's great. Hopefully you're gonna go into labor soon. But then like 36 hours go by and I'm like still kind of like peeing like every hour, which was
mm-hmm.
like it wasn't pee, but it was the water. And I'd get like a little cramping like every time. So like 36 hours go by. and then still nothing. So then I actually took a little bit of castor oil, like I only did like 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons or something, and then a couple hours labor. And she came over and she did a cervical check and all that stuff because I just wanted to know. And at that point, she said I was already 5 centimeters dilated. So it was like over 10 days. So it was just like this slow,
Wow.
slow process. And then finally, like it kicked in where like my mucus plug fell out and it was like 0 to 100 as far as the contractions go. And it was so intense. And then she was out in 3 hours, but it just felt like one long contraction for 3 hours. Like I barely got a break. I was like it was the hardest thing in my entire life. I was like, I can't, I definitely wanted to give up. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And they were just like,
Yeah.
yes, you can. I was like, I don't think I can. Like, I remember saying, like, I thought I was strong, but I'm not this strong. Like, I felt really, but that was like during the transition, which is like the hardest part, which they
Mm-hmm.
tell you, like, you're going to want to give up. And even though I knew that, I was like, no, I do. I want to give up. Like, let's just go to the hospital. I was like thinking, I asked them, I was like, well, the hospital's only like 7 minutes away. And they were like, you're so close. Like, no, you can do this, you know? But it
Mm-hmm.
was just, and then like 30 minutes. And then later I pushed for like 3 pushes. So like in 15 minutes, then she was out. And once I was pushing, I was like so happy. I was like, oh my, because I saw the other assistant, she was like getting the camera out. I was like, oh my gosh, so I'm almost done. I remember seeing the camera because my midwife was like watching me push. And then I was like, okay, this is it. So I gave like one huge push and I like yelled so loud
Oh my
and she was out.
gosh. And it was like it was a water birth, right?
Yeah, I was in the water. Yeah. That
Oh my
was that was
gosh.
nice. I think
I
if
feel like
I
that'd
were
be
I mean,
comforting.
it was nice. Next time, I don't know, it was so intense. So I felt like I got kind of like stuck. Like I was just kind of like over the edge and I was like just screaming into a towel. And I just got like stuck there. And I felt like I should have like moved around more, like try to, I don't know, but it was so intense. I think next time, hopefully I have a little bit more space to just like kind of move and try different positions. But I literally just like got stuck like right there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good.
Oh my God. Like that is like, I mean, I can't imagine how you felt after. Like, I mean, yeah, that's so empowering. I feel like that's like life changing. And then, I mean, did you have to push I mean, everyone has to push their placenta out. I don't know because since I had the C-section, I didn't have to push. But like, was
Yeah.
that
Wait,
weird or like,
hold on. Hold
oh,
on
no
one
worries.
second. We have a little visitor. You want to say hi? Okay.
Oh,
Hi.
hi.
There she
Hi,
is.
sweetheart.
You want to say hi? Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
blondie too. So is my daughter.
Oh.
Blonde hair,
We
blue
we were just
eyes.
talking about you. We were just talking about you and how you came into this world. Yeah. Use a microphone.
Oh my gosh, isn't it? It's so beautiful. Like that, they're, isn't it crazy how much they change? Like birth to 20 months.
Yeah, I know. Like
It's just
she's like her
like,
own little person now,
yeah.
eating. Oh, here's your little strawberry.
I saw something, my husband showed me like this Instagram reel, and it was like the first day of their first birthday to the last day. And it brought me
Oh.
to tears. Like the difference.
Oh.
It's so sad. Like it goes so fast.
Um, yeah, so I'm probably gonna have to go soon because
Oh no,
she's
you're totally good.
right here.
Um,
You want strawberry?
well, I appreciate you sharing like your story. I mean, and just like, the podcast and the book. Is there any like other advice that you would share with just any mom that's like thinking of having a home birth?
Um, yeah, I mean, I would say if you're thinking about it and you're wanting to do it, then I would absolutely do it. Um, it's the best experience, find a midwife that you feel good with, that you feel comfortable with, that really empowers you. Um, I think that's always key too, to have someone really like on your team.
Yeah.
Definitely you and your husband need to be on the same page as well. because that was like super helpful to have my husband like cheering me on the whole way, you know.
Yeah.
Um, you definitely have to have your support team, but yeah, it'll be the best experience for sure.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast and sharing. I hope it really empowers a mom or like pushes her in such a motivating way to go ahead and move forward with a home birth.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, whichever way it happens, it's perfect for you, you know. I think
Yeah.
um like you said, like you did your C-section and it's just I think birth as long as you know, you honor your birth and you appreciate it, I think that's just the best thing ever for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I'm healthy. My daughter was healthy, but yeah, I definitely look up to all those moms that did it a natural way. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
You're
I
good.
gotta take
Well,
her
thank
down
you
now.
so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was super fun.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we were able to connect.
For sure. Thanks, Nicole.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.